A Way Out is a game that strives to offer something different yet familiar, with a story that enforces a mandatory requirement of a friend to join along for the ride. Leaning heavily on classic Prison Break movies, Studio Hazelight manages to deliver a fun and engaging narrative through the multitudes of ways it alters its gameplay. By presenting extremely unique and cinematic moments that constantly keep you surprised at what you will do next, I can most certainly say this is a game worth experiencing with a buddy. A co-op game unlike any other, A Way Out has no way of playing it solo or with a random person online. Rather, the game's director Jason Fares intends for you to either play it with someone else next to you or one you have befriended online. Generously, to enable this vision, only one copy of the game needs to be purchased that can then be shared with a significant other or friend to allow them to play it for free. Regardless of which way you choose, the game still sports the exact same split screen due to the way the narrative presents itself to you. By building a journey with two players in mind from the start, A Way Out is able to create all kinds of unique and engaging split screens. By increasing the screen size of players initiating a conversation and highlighting its dialogue, a dynamic contrast between characters is formed. This enables the ability for both players to take their own path while also actively being engaged with each other's significant moments. It's a system that works well in terms of player freedom, but does so at the cost of allowing one player to ruin another's important moments. You and a friend are given the option to pick between Leo Caruso, the more impulsive, hot-headed character, or Vincent Moretti, the rational and calculative persona. Their personality ties closely into not only how the narrative unfolds, but also the way they interact with the different environments they are subjected to. In terms of gameplay, it can vary drastically, with Leo typically taking a more offensive route, although often the choice is still up to the players regardless of the character they choose. At various points there are divergent options where collectively both characters must choose between a proposed more violent Leo solution or a more thoughtful Vincent plan. By forcing players to come to a unanimous decision, external conversations are incited with your partner that can further amplify the enjoyment and fun, especially if some convincing needs to be done. In general, interacting with your teammate about how to solve a puzzle, making a decision, or by competing in various mini-games is where a lot of the more memorable moments can be found. Regardless of the seriousness or urgency of a situation, there was always time to compete with each other so you could win a game of darts or Connect 4, as well as give opportunities to just explore or jam out a tune. This most certainly presented a narrative problem, but it honestly didn't bother me as I felt this game wanted you to take your time and just enjoy a moment with a friend. It also served as a way to break up the more action-oriented scenes, such as being pursued by the cops or trying to navigate down a river on a raft. Really, it's quite impressive how varying the gameplay is, while still being entirely co-op focused. Interestingly, for a game about a prison break, a good portion of it doesn't take place in captivity at all. Unfortunately, where the narrative ultimately goes isn't particularly compelling, especially for those familiar with breakout movies. The archetypal roles of Leo and Vincent also don't really go anywhere, and the delivery of scenes meant to entice an emotional response typically left me unimpressed. Leo is inherently a more interesting character of the two with a more excitable personality, but regardless of any attempt to do so, I never felt any real emotional connection to Leo or Vincent. Some attempt is given, with the duo both having significant others to care for, but it mostly comes off as a typical fractured home life associated with these types of movies. Often the writing just felt flat, and I was surprised by how little the connection between Leo and Vincent evolved throughout their escape and eventual pursuits once they were free. Coming off Jason Fares' previous game Brother or Tales of Two Sons, and the emotional gut punch of an ending, I left A Way Out feeling disappointed it didn't entice the same kind of reaction. That being said, A Way Out manages to present some of the most diverse and gratifying gameplay offered up in a co-op adventure I've played. There is a lot of diversity not only in its gameplay from stealth to big action sections, but the developers have gone out of their way to make it cinematically unique each time. Not all are implemented as well as others, but you never do something for long before moving on, and I found myself constantly surprised and excited by the moments from start to the conclusion. Overall, the game can be completed in one sitting, with the only real returning prospect to take alternative routes or play as the other character. There are also a couple secret situations that can be triggered, but for the most part this is a game meant to entice you to invite a buddy for a one-off experience. Even though A Way Out story was very by the numbers and lacked any strong emotional impact, the co-op was used extremely effectively that lets me impressed mechanically with the game overall. Though each section wasn't equally as enjoyable, the pace of the game and the rate of surprising and cinematic gameplay moments kept everything interesting. Given the ability to explore quite a few locations and goof around or compete with a friend made the game fun till the very end. By delivering a truly unique co-op only experience that's easy to get into by only having to own one copy, developer Hazelight have presented an adventure that should not be missed. Thanks so much for watching this review, and if you enjoyed it then please subscribe for more gaming and geeky content.